Welcome back to G.A.M.E.R Night. I'm your host, G.A.M.E.R here, and today bringing you another review on a brand new game. One of the most anticipated games of the year, the highly anticipated game, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now, a little bit of backstory before we get into this review. Marvel's Spider-Man PS4 2018 is actually in my top 5 favorite games of all time. So, looking to the sequel, I had a lot of hopes, a lot of expectations, well, did they deliver? I don't know. I guess that's what we're going to talk about. But yeah, this game, this has pretty much been the only PlayStation big exclusive that's released this year, which is kind of sad in a lot of ways, but it is what it is. At least we got that, right? Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. This game is developed by Insomniac Games. In my opinion, the best, and I mean that with all confidence and certainty in my words, the best video game studio right now. Insomniac is quite literally goated. They make Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I think that game's a masterpiece. They made all the Spider-Man games. I think all of those games are phenomenal. And then they made Spider-Man 2. They're working on Wolverine. They have quality and quantity. They are just the absolute goats of video game studios right now. Honestly, they're kind of carrying PlayStation in a lot of ways. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and talk about Insomniac's Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So this is a direct follow-up to Spider-Man PS4 2018 and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales back in 2020 with the launch of the PS5. And this kind of follows both characters this time around. You get to play as Peter and you get to play as Miles. And we get a lot of new characters introduced as well. We get the proper introduction of Harry. We get Dr. Connors. We get Kraven the Hunter, who is in there. And we get the introduction of the symbiote. Now, before we go any further into this review, I will say this is going to be a spoiler review. So if you haven't played the game and you don't want to be spoiled, please turn away now. Because I'm telling you right now, there are a lot of spoilers in this game and in this review, and we're going to talk about all of them because I have a lot to say about this game. Because honestly, I'm going to just go ahead and spoil it right now. I loved it. I absolutely loved every second of it. It's very phenomenal. It is incredible. So yeah, we're going to go ahead. We're going to talk about the game, starting off with the intro. Now, I've seen a lot of people who've been saying this is one of the best intros in any video game ever. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that per se, but it was a fantastic intro. Like that's without a doubt. It was very, very good. In my opinion, it was probably one of the best boss fights in the whole game, to be honest, was that introduction with Sandman. Sandman was the intro, which is a really bold decision for an intro, bringing a villain that a lot of people anticipated when don't really lead up to anything, just like, oh, hey, Sandman's here. But guess what? It worked, and it rocked. It was such an awesome mission. Definitely one of the most memorable missions of the whole game, for sure. And it really just kind of set a really nice tone for the game. It was just a huge spectacle, and it was a really fun boss fight. So I don't know if I would say it's one of the best intros. Definitely one of the best, opening bosses. That's for sure. I don't know about intros. I don't know. That's definitely a debate for another day, but it was really, really great though, for sure. But moving on, we got we got to catch up with a lot of characters like Genki, with Haley, MJ, Harry came back, Peter, Miles. We get to kind of catch up with everybody, and I really just love how they handle characters in this game. Every character has their moments. Every character is lovable. Every character, there's just something to get attached to them. Even MJ, which I know a lot of people had MJ in the first game. I didn't really, but this one, I think MJ really shines, actually. I think MJ's a really great character around this time around. But yeah, so, in terms of, the factors with the game, I think the biggest thing we got to point out, and I know this is going to come as a shock, I personally think the best thing about the game was its gameplay. I think the gameplay was miles better. I'm not talking about Miles Morales. I'm just, distance. All right, it was a ton better. Not to say that the first two weren't good. They were fantastic, but somehow they just were able to triple it. I'm not even going to say double. I'm going to say triple, because I felt like throughout the entire game, we were always just learning more, doing more, and finding more, and it was just constant fun. And that's really all I ask for a superhero game like this, is just constant fun where I can feel like the superhero. And that's one of the biggest props I can give this game, is that it really makes you feel like Spider-Man. And I mean, you felt like that in the first two, but this one is just awesome. Being able to switch from character to character, helping the city out, doing all these different abilities. The suit options we have in this one is insane. It's just so fun. And that, personally, that's my favorite part of this whole game, is the gameplay and its features and all the content that is included with it. Now, in terms of content, there's been a huge debate online whether the length of the game is appropriate or not. I think it is. I don't have a problem with it being as short as it is. However, I do wish they did flesh out a few more things. Like, there were certain moments in the story which I definitely wish got a lot more attention, or more, just a couple missions to help explain it. Like, they pretty much killed off the entire, like, Sinister Six with, like, in just, like, a snap. I wish we kind of got to, like, see all that kind of play out. Instead, we kind of just, oh, there's Vulture's wings. He's dead. You know, it's kind of like just stuff like that. It's like, oh, dang, that sucks. But, I mean, it's not the biggest issue, but it definitely was something that I did wish, we got a little more of. I do feel like we could have gotten a few more missions with the actual symbiote Spider-Man, Black Spider-Man, like when he's all mean and everything. I do feel like they handled it well, but I definitely feel like there could have been a little bit more. But for the most part, I am really satisfied with what we got. So yeah, overall, just I don't think the shortness of it was the big problem. I just think that they missed an opportunity to flesh out some things a little bit more. I actually really like Dr. Connors and the Lizard in this game. I thought he was actually a big delight to add to the game. He was a good villain. He was a great side character. He really helped the plot move forward. I thought he was an excellent character for sure. And in terms of the story, I think this is like my only minor issue with the game. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's major, minor, depending on how you want to do it. But this is definitely the biggest issue I had with it, and it just comes down to pacing. I throughout the and I keep on comparing it to the other Spider-Man, because I mean that's how it's gonna work. I personally hold the first Spider-Man game, PS4 Spider-Man 2018, to a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Personally, that is my personal opinion on it. And throughout that entire playthrough of the first game, it was constant high points from beginning to end. Whereas this one, I feel like it definitely reached higher points, for sure. But I feel like there were points that didn't quite go as high as I would have wanted. So, like, it's kind of hard to explain. I did this kind of a talk in a tier list that I did recently, but it's really hard to explain because in a lot of ways, I think I do prefer Spider-Man 2 over Spider-Man 2018. But I do think Spider-Man 2018 might be the better game, which is really interesting to say. And it's not because there's, you know, and it's kind of unfair because you're comparing a sequel that just takes everything the first game did and adds more. So by default, you would think, oh, well, the second one's better because it has more. That's not exactly true. You have to think about when it came out, what it was trying to do. And I just feel like PS4 Spider-Man was a more on-pace story. I feel like there was never a point in that game, apart from the MJ mission, that wasn't hitting every note. Like, PS4 Spider-Man, every mission was gold, in my opinion. Whereas this Spider-Man 2, I think a lot of the missions were much better than 2018 Spider-Man. But I do feel like there were some missions that were weaker. So I felt like the pacing was kind of just off. And I don't know, this is just me. I feel like there were way more missions as Peter than Miles. And there was a point in the game when I was like, man, I kind of forgot Miles existed, not gonna lie, because I played Peter for like 5 missions straight. And I was like, man, they just really haven't shown Miles here in like a few hours. Like, it was kind of crazy. So I do feel like there was just a little bit of pacing issues. even then, I still thought the story was freaking fantastic. Even then, I still thought it was fantastic. I absolutely love... See, this is what I say. I love the first quarter of the game. I love the third and fourth quarter of the game. I think the second quarter of the game was kind of weird for me. I like the whole like Harry getting the powers, trying to become Spider-Man thing was definitely, I think, the lowest point for me. It was, I don't know, it just didn't sit right, and that's whenever they kind of just like threw Miles to the side, and I get why they did that, but it was, I don't know, it just didn't exactly hit me the right way. But that being said, this game does have some incredibly high moments. Venom is peak in this game. I'm sorry. Venom is absolutely peak in this game. Miles is peak in this game. Peter, I will say the first half of the game, I was thinking, man, Peter kind of sucks, bro. Like, he was just getting bodied by everything. Like, when he was fighting Sandman, he was getting bodied, bro. Like, low-key, like, how did you beat him the first time without Miles? Because you definitely don't look like you know how to fight this guy. But, like, towards the second half, I started loving him way more. Once he got the symbiote suit, I was like, oh, yeah. I love Peter. And then the anti-Venom suit, I was not expecting that to happen at all, but it did, and oh my god, that might have been like one of my favorite moments in the whole game, is when he got that anti-Venom suit, because it was so unexpected, and it hit so hard, and it was so awesome to do it. MJ, like I said, was actually a huge standout. I thought she was a really great addition to the story and just all the characters. Harry was good for the most part. I really liked Harry at the beginning, but once he started getting sick again, I was kind of like, I don't know. See, like, that's kind of what I say. That's what I was saying. I kind of wish it was a little fleshed out. Once he started getting sick, it was like a sudden change. Like, there wasn't no, like, gradual getting more and more mean and aggressive. He just kind of became a jerk, like, instantly. So, yeah, but that's kind of what it is. Music is phenomenal in this game. I mean, the first game had great music. The music in this one's also phenomenal. And visually, I mean, it's a sequel. It's gonna have its upgrades. The way it uses the PS5 stuff, PS5 technology, with, you know, just the loading and honestly, the whole intro with Sandman kind of showed the power, as well as the Black Cat chase scene. I thought really showcased the fast loading speed. We were going through all the portals, going to different places. I thought that was really, really awesome. And see, you know, like I said, there are so many things that I think Spider-Man 2 does way better than the first Spider-Man game. I just personally think Spider-Man PS4 is more of a complete package. While I do prefer Spider-Man 2, I think it's more fun. There's more. It offers more. I just think in terms of quality and complete package for a crafted story, I would still say 2018 Spider-Man is just a little bit better, and it just comes down to pacing. Now, that being said, I still prefer a lot of the things that Spider-Man 2 does. It has nothing to do with any of the other factors except story. Story is the only factor between the two that butt heads and battle out for which ones I think is better. And I lean towards 2018. Everything else, every other factor, gameplay, visuals, music, content, whatever, Spider-Man 2 trumps. I think it does it so much better. That being said, I see all these people. Anytime you say this, you have to be careful, because people are going to take it way out of context. Just because I say every other factor, Spider-Man 2 trumps over 2018, that does not mean 2018 is bad, ladies and gentlemen. You have to think, but before Spider-Man 2 came out, we all thought all those factors were phenomenal. Just because Spider-Man 2 came out does not mean those things are no longer phenomenal. They still are, but we can prefer the Spider-Man 2 stuff now. That being said, I still think 2018 is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, because everything, I think, is what it should be, and it hits every note. Whereas in Spider-Man 2, I think 95% of it hits every note that I wanted. There was like that 5% that I just wish they made a few changes here and there with the story. But overall, this is undoubtedly one of the best superhero games of all time. This is one of the best PlayStation games of all time. This is one of the best games of the generation so far. I think it's the best Spider-Man game. scratch that. It is my favorite Spider-Man game of all time. I just said I think the best is still 2018. And I will stand by that. But this one is my favorite. It really just has to do with all the great moments in this, and that's like, apart from the gameplay, that's one of my favorite parts, is getting to see Venom, getting to fight Venom, getting to play as Venom. Oh, I haven't even talked about that. That was baller. Give us a Venom spinoff, please. And then, getting Venom to evolve with his wings and everything, that was sick. Seeing the anti-Venom suit, getting the symbiote Peter, getting all these characters to have their moments, and Kraven the Hunter was so good. I almost wish he didn't die so he could come back, but I think his whole arc was just pristine. It was just absolutely awesome to see all these characters. Kraven added so much, like, just depth to the story. I just love everything that Kraven had to do with the game. I really just absolutely loved this game, guys. There's very little I have issues with, and even the things I do have issues with are minor, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clock this one in at a 9.5. I think it truly is a phenomenal game. But yeah, you guys let me know. Have you guys played Spider-Man 2? If you have you played the first one and Miles Morales? What do you think? Compare them. Which one's your favorite? What do you just think of Spider-Man 2 overall? Who was your fifth favorite character? What was your fifth favorite moment? Let me know, guys. With that being said, make sure you go check out my PS5 video game tier list, PS5 exclusive video game tier list that comes out here in a couple days. Spider-Man 2 is included on there. See how it ranks up against everything else. But that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. G.A.M.E.R out. Peace.